What is good, everybody? Welcome to an impromptu stream of the Gold Standard Podcast. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. He's Levin Black. Levin, we're doing this on Wednesday night because you're working tomorrow, so we can't live stream tomorrow in the afternoon. So basically, whatever happens is all your fault.
I'm really proud of you, so I'm not going to give you any crap, at least not right now at this part of the show. I'm sure later on I will, but I'm very proud of you, Rob.
Oh, I know where this is going. I thought for like a half second, I thought maybe he's actually
better.
Me a compliment. No, you're not.
What did you do today?
I tweeted you.
Not say it right. You embraced the Woody.
I will never say that. So apparently some awesome person made a Mortal Kombat mod, and instead of the Mortal Kombat characters, it's all like Pixar characters. And so he put out a video of this battle where Woody is like destroying Sully from Monsters Inc. And so I tweeted it at you like, hey, stop, calling me Woody. Look, this is what you're going to get. And you enjoyed it greatly, obviously.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you for embracing the Woody. I'm not scared of you. I know in the video, Woody was whooping some ass, but both you and Woody are scrawny little nothings, so I'm not scared. Bring it on.
We're wiry, man. You got to
talk about a live stream. You and I fight. Now that would make some money.
That might make some money. It would also probably cause me to have many, many, many hospital bills. So not going to do that. If you're watching the stream right now, you can see the video. It's pretty sweet. There's Woody, and then Jesse's coming in for like a double team attack. You're using the hats to slice people up. It's wild, man.
Now, this is a bit of a personal question, but does your wife dress up as Jesse or what? Or does she do Bo Peep?
Question.
Does she do Bo Peep?
We're 2 minutes into the show, and you're asking me what costumes my wife wears if she role plays. That's where we are? Damn. Maybe this stream was sake, man.
Do you tell your wife, hey, save a horse?
Ride a cowboy? I don't.
Woody's ready?
Somehow I don't think that would work. Just, throwing it out there. All right. We're going to get to a couple different things tonight. The Packers are talking trash. I don't know if everybody saw this, but I certainly did. So we're going to get to that. We'll get to just general game preview. I'm seeing a lot about the Packers run game. So I want to get your take on that, Levin. But before we get into all of that, as we always do, oh boy, here we go. Levin throws up a comment. Antonio, YouTube channel member, shout out to you, Antonio, says, breaking, the 49ers signed wide receiver Woody to the practice squad. I wouldn't even have one play in me. Not a single rep could I withstand anything going on an NFL practice field.
You know what you would be as a wide receiver? You'd be Deontay Johnson for the Steelers when he walked away during that fumble. You're like, there's the fumble. See ya. I want no part of that.
That might be the only thing I'd be able to do at a pro level is fall on top of a football. Maybe. I'm not even going to give myself that much credit.
I'm not going to lie. If you were lined up at a wide receiver, I'm pretty sure the entire defense would be like, all right, it's 11 on 10. We're going to leave that guy over there. Nobody within 30 yards of him, and pray they give him the ball.
Sad but true. No, what I wanted to get to is our YouTube channel partner, Community Tree Service LLC. Shout out to them. Thank you for being friends of the show. We so appreciate it. If you need anything done for your yard, I'm talking tree trimming, land clearing, hazard tree removal, home fire hardening, debris removal, call or get in contact with Community Tree Service from the Central Coast up to the Bay Area. Estimates are free. Email them at estimating@cts831.com. You can call 831-763-2391 or check out their website, communitytree.com, to schedule an appointment. Tell them we sent you, that you're a Niner fan. You get $200 off your quote. If you're a Packers fan, they'll probably charge you $200 more. Community Tree Service is licensed by the California State License Board, license number 1100816. Let's get to the trash talk, Levin. I didn't even know
this. I thought that's what we were doing this whole show so far.
Yeah, well, I mean by the Packers towards the 49ers. I didn't know this person existed, and that's probably my bad for not knowing the opponent well enough. But I'm going about my day, and all of a sudden I see this quote from a Packers beat writer, and I was like, this can't be a real quote. And lo and behold, it is a real quote. And if you missed the quote and you're watching on the stream, here it is. Let me just get the little logo out of the way for half a second. Devontae Wyatt, quote, when D linemen just get pressure into Brock Purdy, he's always throwing off, or it's behind them, or it's overthrown, or short. When you get pressure on him, it's a guarantee we'll get a turnover. Guarantee we'll get a turnover. That is an actual quote. And I give credit to the beat writer for the Packers who tweeted out the message, because in the tweet with that quote in it, he points out that Brock Purdy had the best passer rating under pressure of anybody in the NFL. So credit to Matt Schneidman, who tweeted that, who put that in the actual tweet with the quote. But what are the Packers doing, Levin?
Not watching film. That's for damn sure. I don't know why you would even say it. That tells me this team is feeling themselves a bit too much. That would be my main takeaway is, boy, they think that they can smack talk the bully of the league, right? But it's so uninformed. Like, unless you're watching, he must just watch like a lot of Nick Wright, and that's where he gets all of his analysis from. I don't need to watch film. I'm going to watch Nick Wright because he'll tell me everything about the opponent. That's got to be what he's doing, right?
I don't understand. Like, I'm sure they watch all the film. I just don't understand why he would say that. It's one thing to say, hey, if we get pressure on him, that's our best chance to get a turnover. That's true of anybody. But number one, Brock has been great under pressure this year. Number two, the Packers only had 7 interceptions all year as a team. So unless he's talking about causing a fumble, I'm stunned by the comments.
I mean, he said he's consistent, right? He said something moronic, and then he followed it up by saying something else that's moronic. The team doesn't intercept the ball, like you said, 7 interceptions on the entire season. And that was immediately followed up, or I guess preceded by saying that he's terrible under pressure and they just have to blitz him. It's like that, as we've talked about, that is the wrong way. That's the exact wrong way to play against Purdy, because Purdy's really good at diagnosing pre-snap. The way you beat Purdy is you change coverages post-snap, so you play disguise, and to me, you sit in the middle of the field intermediate with one of your safeties, because that's his bread and butter. He loves those crossing routes.
First of all, don't be giving people advice on how to stop.
Oh, yes. Let me tell you, they're definitely listening.
Paul says Stats falls into the trap of spending way too much time arguing with 1 or 2 comments. This is a dude on the team that the 49ers are playing this week. Like, this is not a random dude on Twitter, Paul.
Yeah, this isn't a former player who got in a bunch of legal troubles, and that's why his career ended, that now sits and talks on ESPN radio or something like that.
That says that, yeah, they should illegally hit Brock Purdy. That would be former Packers tight end Mark Chmura. I talked about that with Grant earlier today. No, this is a guy on the Packers talking trash about Brock Purdy. And it's just flat out incorrect, as the Packers' own beat writer pointed out. And if their strategy is going to be to try to blitz Brock Purdy, like you said, please do, because we're ready for that. That makes it easier, I think, for Brock.
Absolutely. Like, that plays into his biggest strength. It makes no sense. Like, what is Matt LaFleur saying to that player tomorrow? He knows how Kyle works. Kyle said it many times that he's confirmed after a game, yeah, we saw it, or yeah, I made sure that player was aware of this, and it was something somebody had said about them. He plays that game with his players where he finds things to help motivate them when somebody criticizes them. You think Kyle's not going to use that this week? He absolutely will.
And I want to give a shout out to Akash on Varathan, who had this tweet: since week 10, Brock Purdy under pressure, number 1 in yards per attempt, number 1 in completion rate. So like, no matter how you want to slice it, this is just flat out wrong. And
Can we talk about the third line there?
Number 5 in PFF grade. I don't care about
if
PFF.
You're number 1 in yards per attempt and number 1 in completion rate. How in the fuck are you number 5 in supposedly subjective grade that's 100% about watching the film and grading it. Like, okay, he completes the most often and he gets the most yards per opportunity of being pressured. How are you 5?
Look, dude, I don't work for PFF. Take it up with them. What do you want from me?
I want you to correct it.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll text them then, I guess.
Say, look, I'm kind of a big deal. I've been in 4 movies. You need to listen to me. I kind of know what the people want because all the movies were massive smash hits, right?
Yeah, 4 was unnecessary. I actually think they're making a 5, believe it or not. Andre,
4 wasn't unnecessary. 4 has a great ending to that.
Not better than the ending of the 3rd movie. The ending of the 3rd movie was a damn masterpiece. Andre says, this team got full of themselves beating the Cowboys. Everyone thinks Love is a Hall of Famer now. All the 49ers have to do is play their style of game, and they win by double digits. By the way, Andre is a YouTube channel member. Shout out to all the members. I love you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Please become a YouTube channel member. It's less than $3 a month. You get custom emojis, you get membership badges, you get priority comment response. I'll give you a follow on Twitter if you want it. And if you want to pay $1 extra, you'll get instant access to our 49ers in 5 show. That's our daily news show that comes out every weekday morning. It's 5 minutes or so long. Gives you everything you need to know to be up to date on the Niners. So please, if you want to do that, please do, because I really appreciate it.
I'm just laughing at this. I think this guy might be a little bit new. If he doesn't know what we're referencing, that is Woody over there. I mean, you can't tell because he's not in his whole cowboy uniform and hat and all that, but that's Woody over there.
Do you want to know something funny? And I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I just discovered this the other day completely by chance. Your boy has an IMDb page. I'm on IMDb. Really? I didn't make it myself. I had nothing to do with it.
Sure.
I'm on IMDb. It's because of my appearances on Up and Adams with Kay Adams. It says plays.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There it is. Known for Up and Adams, actor. There you go. That's my IMDb page.
Oh, I saw that edit button. I know what I'm doing after this stream.
I seriously had nothing to do with that. But I did think that
I am totally editing you into each Toy Story movie and then screenshotting it.
Brisbee Life watching on Twitch. Shout out to everybody on Twitch. Says, I come for the Niner content. I stay for the Toy Story plot debates. I mean, I don't know anybody that didn't like Toy Story 3 except you, of course, the human wet blanket.
I didn't say I hated it. I just didn't like it. It was okay. I think it's the worst of the 4.
What? Oh, you're absurd. That's the more absurd than Devontae Wyatt's trash talk. The Sentinels football channel.
No, don't change the subject.
Why are you credited as an actor when you're a YouTube 49ers fan? I don't know why I'm credited as an actor. I didn't do it, but I saw it on IMDb. Wedge Antilli says, Rob on IMDb, 49ers trolls, release the hounds. All right, let's get into some actual game talk. There are a lot of Packers fans, from what I'm seeing, that are not confident in the 49ers run defense. They think that Aaron Jones is going to be able to run all over them. He's been playing well lately. I think he's got 100 yards in 4 straight games. They have been running the ball well. I don't know why people think the 49ers run defense is not good. They gave up the 3rd fewest rushing yards per game in the league this year. Can you explain this to me?
Because they have periods where they're not. That's the explanation. They were first in the league, and then they had about 5 games in a row that they struggled to tackle, and the opposing team was able to run the ball. If that team shows up, which I don't think it will because of the bye week, they're in trouble. The only way I can see Green Bay winning is if somehow Purdy has his worst game, or they actually are able to run the ball, because if they're able to run the ball, I think the rest will kind of open up and it'll be more of like a shootout, and they have a chance to win a shootout. Not that they definitely will win a shootout. Like the Niners could win this game, 41-34. It could be one of those games. I don't think it will be. I think it will be high scoring, but not that crazy high scoring. It's just if Aaron Jones gets going, this is, to me, a team similar to 2019 49ers offensively. When Aaron Jones is going, Love is unlocked. Lately, Aaron Jones has been going. It's not a coincidence that Love went off once Aaron Jones got healthy this season. Like, people haven't really been making that argument this week, and I don't understand why. Like, Love became this thing when the run game got going because Aaron Jones got healthy.
And Aaron Jones is a good player, but I don't know. I feel like
so is Love. Like, I'm not saying Love is a bad player. I'm just saying, like, I think he needs the run game.
With a healthy-ish Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave and Bosa and Chase Young and Greenlaw and Warner and all those guys, like, I don't know. I don't know that the Packers are going to be able to run the ball that well, but I look at this tweet from Peter Burkowski, who is the host for the Packers Locked On podcast. He's going to join me tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Friday. I'm going to sit down with him. He says, I thought maybe the poor 49ers run defense numbers were partially a game script thing. They blow teams out, so they play soft in the fourth quarter and give up yards. Nope. Win percentage between 20 and 80%. The 49ers EPA per rush is even worse, from 26th to 27th. It's a bad run defense. How can they be a bad run defense and yet give up the third fewest rushing yards per game? That's what I don't understand. And I'm not like trying to rip Peter here. I'm going to ask him this. How can that be?
It's hyperbole to say they're a bad run D, but yeah, they were up in a ton of games. You've talked about it. They blew a lot of teams out. So the run game was not a focal point. That drives down the rushing yards allowed per game. But in terms of rushing yards per attempt, I think they were 4.2 or 4.3, which is pretty mediocre.
All right. That's a good explanation. Because I was having a hard time rationalizing the two things, honestly. Like, because in my mind, maybe I'm just, the old school football fan guy, but I don't think it's as bad as Packers fans seem to think it is. Antonio, YouTube channel member, says Stat should wear a Woody costume for a show if the Niners win the Super Bowl. Yeah, why not? I'll do it at some point. I won't do it Super Bowl night, but
how about this? If the Niners make the Super Bowl, we will make a video of you walking down the strip in a Woody costume. I'll be the cameraman, and you walk down the strip, and we'll just whatever comes our way.
But here's the thing, like, that's something you do if you lose a bet. I'm betting on the 49ers to get to the Super Bowl. So why should I be punished?
That's something you do if you want to go viral.
Yeah, watch this idiot in a Woody costume get tackled in Las Vegas.
Look, it's Vegas, so we'll go hire a hooker that's blonde. We'll dress her up like Bo Peep, and you'll be walking down the street, and she'll come running from across the street. Your wife will love it. Don't worry.
Is remotely close to happening. Look, I will write up a lot of stuff as a business expense. That ain't one of the things. Okay? No, that is not happening.
Look, honey, it had to happen. You don't understand.
Yeah, suddenly I'll have a lot more time to do 49ers podcast. Keith Murphy, the unbeaten, says, Rob, stop letting Grant get under your skin. Grant and I had a fiery show today. Not going to lie. We were going back and forth at one another. Paul says, you're not a SAG member, are you? I'm not a SAG member. I am a Writers Guild member, but that's a whole other separate thing.
What?
Yeah, that's right. I'm a member of the Writers Guild. What do you think of that? See, you're learning all sorts of stuff about me.
Is this the Writers Guild of BFE, Connecticut, or what?
No, the real Writers Guild.
How'd that work out?
None of your business. Look, I am a multi-talented...
Hey, Florio, throw me a bone here.
No. And by the way, I have a children's book coming out next month. So eat it, Levin. I'm doing all sorts of stuff over here. You don't even know.
I guess you don't need my help then. You got all this free time, huh?
Wedge says, Levin, they're called professional escorts.
You can call them what you want. I'll call them what they are.
Get with the times. Andre says Nick Wright is a bozo. He ranked Purdy below Baker and bottom tier of the quarterbacks left. Nick Wright is an entertainer, man. Brisbee Life says, this pod took a turn. Yes, it did. This is what happens when we decide randomly to stream 2 minutes before.
Right to the red light district. Now, this is honestly what happens when I have a rough day at work and I'm working on almost no sleep. And if you don't know the type of industry that I'm in, uh, pushes boundaries that are not normally pushed in an office format. Put it that way. There are conversations and jokes that are made. So I've been in that mode all day. I'm tired, and yeah, I have to watch myself when I record after working a daylight shift. When we record Wednesday nights, it's a different version of myself because I'm tired and I've been in a mode that is not appropriate for the public.
Oh, we got cranky wet blanket today. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm ready for bed. Not gonna lie. It is 9 o'clock for those of you on the West Coast. We are both East Coasters over here. Represent.
Oh God. Let me ask you this. Let's say the Packers are able to run the ball and the Packers are able to move the ball and the Packers are able to score. What's your level of confidence that Frisbee Life says spicy blanket? What's your level of confidence that the 49ers could win a shootout with the Packers?
Pretty damn good because the Packers defense sucks. And when it comes down to winning a shootout, it's basically what defense can man up and make one stop. And I trust the Niners defense to make that one stop over the Packers defense. So I wouldn't be shocked if this game is 60 plus points. I'm not quite predicting that high, but I wouldn't be shocked at all.
I would be. If the Packers score 30 on the 49ers, this team has been constructed defense first since Kyle Shanahan arrived. You were constructed to not have to win shootouts. That's how this team is built, right? How many resources have they poured into the defensive line? Like, now you're telling me they're going to give up 30 in a playoff game? What have we been working on for the past 7 years?
The defense is not at the same level this year. It's still a really good defense. But as we've talked about, there are games where this defense is not a good defense all of a sudden. 8 games out of 10, they're great. It's those 2 games when they're not on, it's not, oh, they gave up a play or 2. No, it's they literally get shoved around and they can't stop the run, and then the pass gets going, and it's just a complete failure of a defensive performance.
They gave up 30 or more twice this year. They gave up 33 to Baltimore, and they gave up 31 to Cincinnati. Every other game, they've been under 30. Like, I don't know. I think that's pretty damn good.
It is good. I said they're a really good defense. But you have agreed in the past with me that there are times where this defense suddenly looks weak. They get bullied sometimes, and it's really weird because normally they're inflicting their will, and then all of a sudden it'll be, oh, we're going to get run over. We can't make any tackles. We're going to be in the wrong spots at the wrong times and not stop anybody. It is what it is. Like, yes, they managed to not give up some points, but I'm trying to remember what game it was, one of the last games, where they gave up only 10 points in the game. But the entire first half, we were watching that defense, and we were going, what the heck is this?
Ben Richards says those are the times when they seem tired.
Yes. Which is why I don't think it'll be a problem in this game.
They ain't going to be tired now. At least they better not be.
I was going to say, they better not be.
By the way, speaking of that, and thank you, Ben, for reminding me, we got injury report news today, and it was fantastic. I'm going to put it on the screen. It looks even better when you see it on the screen. There was one player for the 49ers that didn't participate in practice today, and it's Clelin Ferrell. Now, obviously, that doesn't include Talanoa Hufanga, who we know tore his ACL. 2 other players were limited, Logan Ryan and Dre Greenlaw. They're both going to play. Clelin Ferrell probably not going to play. But when is the last time we're going into a playoff game, Levin, and not even a wild card game? Divisional round, and health is on the 49ers side?
Don't fucking jinx it.
This is incredible. And yes, I get it. This is the benefit of resting mostly in week 18 and getting the bye. This is, if you told me in July that this is where the 49ers were going to be on January 17th, that they were not going to have Talanoa Hufanga and that they were going to have one player not participate on Wednesday before the divisional round, you would have been jumping for joy.
Hey. I know Danny Gray is technically on IR, but they could have activated him today. Don't forget about Danny Gray, okay? But no, knock on wood, this has been by far the most healthy season, I would say, of the Kyle Shanahan era.
Yeah, I would agree. You're right. I mean, they have been in the top 10 of most injured teams every year that Shanahan has been there. I don't know where they fall this year, but I would imagine it's probably not in the top 10. There have been a lot of injuries around the league.
Was it 2020 that they were the most injured team in history? Which, by the way, the Titans broke that record last year.
Oof.
I don't know if you realize that. My brother pointed it out to me, but yeah.
Sorry, Titans fans.
Yeah. I think it was the highest percentage of snaps missed by starters from week 1. Something like that. Projected starters from week 1, because some injuries were preseason. But yeah. And this is weird territory for us.
That's why there's no excuses left. And you could say the Packers are hot and Jordan Love is hot, whatever. I don't care. You're the number 1 seed. You are rested. You are healthy. You don't have Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. Get it done. Get it done. And
if they don't get it done, you fire Kyle Shanahan, you go get Bill Belichick. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Although, quickly, I will point out.
I will say, if it was guaranteed you get Bill Belichick, I might hesitate, but I still wouldn't do it.
Right before we went on live, we got news that the Cowboys are keeping Mike McCarthy as their head coach, by the way. Mike McCarthy is staying in Dallas. So Jerry just saw that playoff game last week and was like, all right, let's run it back next year, which is obviously good news for every 49ers fan, because who don't want to see Mike McCarthy on that Dallas sideline?
You know what Mike McCarthy says when he looks in the mirror?
Why am I here?
I'm a potato.
He is a potato. He keeps telling people, as a head coach, he is a potato. Nobody does less with more than Mike McCarthy. He's coached 2 quarterbacks in his career, basically. Dak Prescott and Aaron Rodgers. He has 1 Super Bowl win with Aaron Rodgers and a hell of a lot of playoff losses. That's who Mike McCarthy is. I'm thrilled he's back. Great. 1 less team in the NFC we got to worry about.
Yeah, he lucked into one of the best quarterbacks of all time and didn't even make 2 Super Bowls with him.
Not only
2 Super Bowls, let alone win.
Not only did he luck into Aaron Rodgers, he could have had Aaron Rodgers with the 49ers when he was here in 2005. He was part of the coaching staff that drafted Alex Smith instead of Aaron Rodgers. The fact that he wound up with him anyway is infuriating. By the way, Mr. Cheeks or Checks, however you want to say it, says, fire Shanahan. Now I know y'all are some fair weather fans. We're kidding. It was sarcasm, dude. Neither one of us wants to fire Kyle Shanahan. Come on.
Yeah. I'm not even going to respond to that comment other than pretty sure it is Czech, because that's how you spell Czech in other countries.
Well, sorry, I'm not Mr. Cultured Guy. Levin.
You got to get outside of your basement and the massive state of Connecticut that's so hard to leave.
I have been to London. I've been to Italy. I've been to Aruba. I've been to Canada. I think that's all my international travel.
Hold on here. When were you in Italy and where?
I've been to Italy twice in my life. I went multiple times. I went once after 8th grade, and then I went once in college. And I went everywhere in Italy. Name a place. I went there.
Okay. Did you go to Lucca?
No.
There's somewhere you haven't been in Italy that I've been.
Went to Rome, Venice. I went to the spots people care about.
Well, my wife cares about Lucca because that's where her grandmother was born.
Well,
take that.
Congratulations. But anyway, I don't. This is the weirdest show ever. How are we talking about my international travel?
This is how I am. By the way, there you go. Mr. Checks says Levin is correct. Truly the most cultured. Yeah, damn Skippy.
Just for full disclosure, Mr. Most Cultured was stuffing his face with a Twix 30 seconds before we went on the air.
Here, you do all the talking because I'll eat the second half.
Yeah, say there. And he doesn't even like Twix. How about that?
I don't.
I don't like Twix. I don't like cookie and cracker. Who doesn't like Twix?
Me.
Yeah, that's the weirdest take of all time. But anyway, also, I'm going to, because you are not available, I should mention this, because you are not available tomorrow in the afternoon, at least East Coast time in the afternoon, I'm going to be live streaming with Paul McCaffrey, formerly of KMBR, something I've been working on for a little while. I reached out to Paul after he was laid off because I know what that's like. And Antonio, Twix is not mid. But anyway, we're going to do it early because he's got a lot of stuff going on, but he graciously agreed to make time for us. So 9:30 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow, I will be live with Paul McCaffrey. Super excited. We'll get into, his career, obviously being on the air for 18 years, and we'll take a deep dive on the playoff game, I'm sure. But basically, I've leveled up without you, is what I'm saying.
Well, speaking of leveling up, Brisbee Life says Levin is to Twix as Rob is to tamales. And I take offense to that because you just saw me take a bite of a Twix, which means I've actually tried it. I'm not an uncultured swine who hasn't tried a tamale.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. Wedge Antilles says, Robin Levin, did you catch the quarterback conversations with Steve Young and Brock Purdy? I did. Did you get a chance to watch that?
I got some of the highlights, but I had such a busy day today at work, I did not get to sit and watch it.
So, yes, Steve Young and Brock Purdy sat down. The 49ers did a little interview. And
I thought they dressed up as Spider-Man and pointed at each other.
Yeah, they should have. The thing that jumped out to me is I think that it's clear that Steve Young, we all know by now, he carried a lot of the you're not Joe Montana. You're not as good as Joe. You'll be nothing until you win a Super Bowl. That was
that monkey off my back.
Right. He literally said that when they were about to win the Super Bowl. That's how much of in his head it was. And he was really talking to Brock about how do you deal with people saying you're Mr. Irrelevant and doubting you and all this stuff. And basically,
how do you replace Jimmy G?
And Brock was basically like, I don't really care, which I don't totally believe, but that's basically what Brock said. And Steve Young, he couldn't believe that because Steve Young was a guy that internalized all that stuff. So I think that's what really impressed Steve. That's what I took from the conversation.
I think it is different scenarios. It's different when you're replacing a guy that when he left was literally very popularly. See, that Twix screwed me up.
Was it alcoholic Twix?
Called the greatest quarterback of all time. By the time Joe Montana left the 49ers, he was widely considered that.
Yep.
So that's who Steve Young had to replace. Brock's not, he doesn't have that. He's able to be the savior instantly. He's what Joe Montana was. Now, Joe Montana obviously started out and struggled, but once they won, he was the savior. Finally delivered the 49ers to the promised land. Ever since Steve Young left this franchise, we've all been looking for that savior at quarterback, and it has not been a good journey. There have been many times somebody drowned along the way.
Treacherous waters for sure.
So he gets to be a savior right away. It's not the same situation.
Yeah, and it's almost he doesn't even carry the burden of that Kyle Shanahan has, right? Shanahan has the, hey, you keep getting to the NFC Championship game, you keep losing, you lost the Super Bowl against the Patriots when you were with the Falcons. Brock doesn't have any of that. Brock wasn't here. Yeah. Brock has none of that. He's like one of the rare 49ers in this group that is not really affected by any of that, which I hadn't really thought of until now, but it is kind of an interesting phenomenon. Like, whereas maybe some of the 49ers would be like, oh my God, we can't blow this game. Brock is like, hell, this is only my second one. And the first one I played 3 snaps. Like, let's go. I'm good.
Right. So Steve Young won an MVP and it wasn't good enough. He had to prove stuff because for the 49ers, it was, you have to win a Super Bowl. Nobody cares about you winning the MVP.
Right.
For Brock, the moment he completed his first NFL pass, he exceeded expectations of being Mr. Irrelevant.
It's true.
Literally, it couldn't be more opposite.
That's a good point. I mean, no Mr. Irrelevant quarterback had ever even started a game in NFL history, let alone done what Brock has done since he's gotten in there. So that's one thing that kind of sets Brock apart from the rest of the guy. I guess Christian McCaffrey doesn't really have that either, right? For the same reason. Also, he was somebody that played well in the NFC Championship game, even without Brock Purdy. So that was my biggest takeaway from the Steve Young, Brock Purdy thing. Steve talked about Brock, how you stay cool in pressure situations. That was the only part of the interview that I kind of took issue with because Brock hasn't really had a lot of pressure situations, right? Isn't that the one thing that everybody kind of knocks him for, which is like, hey, we haven't seen you really, playing from behind late in the fourth quarter in a comeback type situation. So I thought Steve was giving him a lot of credit for that. And to me, it was like, I'm not really sure that I'm ready to say that about Brock yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one thing he still has to prove, right? It's the last feather in his cap or whatever you want to call it. To me, it's not a massive deal. It's not, jury's still out on whether or not Brock Purdy's any good because he hasn't had this game where he's down by 20 points and leads them back to a victory. But it is something you want to see. But as you have pointed out, wisely, I might add, the reason he hasn't gotten to yet is because they're always up by 20 points. Might have something to do with the guy that was the MVP favorite with 4 games to go.
That was a compliment by you. I didn't think I would get one of those on tonight's show. Thank you.
Just made your week.
It's so rare, like I need to replay it. I'm just looking on Twitter. I'm sorry. Trent Williams says 100% he's coming back next year. So
I thought he said 100% Brock will turn it over if you get pressure on
him. No, that turns out that was just the Green Bay Packers saying that. Yeah, apparently Williams was asked. He said, "Oh yeah, 100% he will be back." So there's no retirement talk or any of that. That is fantastic. He said he wants to break the Pro Bowl record for tackles. That's a big thing for me. He made 12 straight Pro Bowls this year. I believe.
What is the record?
Bruce Matthews, I think, has the record. I want to say 14 or 15. It's pretty ridiculous, but
I think it's 15 and 16 seasons.
That's insane.
I think.
But that's
obviously he played for the Titans, so my brother was a big fan of his.
Yeah. But Big Trent wants to come back. Amen, brother. We need it.
Is it 15 and 16? Did you actually confirm that or no?
I didn't actually confirm it. No, I'm just wildly speculating.
Well, I'm going to say it's a win and nobody's allowed to look it up.
Okay.
I'm right. But no, like that's surprising to me. I'll say that.
Look,
I thought if they win the Super Bowl, peace out.
And he may feel differently if they do win a Super Bowl. Like I never hold the guys to like, now he's got to come back because he said that. No, man, if they win the Super Bowl and the confetti's coming down and he's just like, damn, man, like it doesn't get any better than this.
You're also one snap away from, at that age, I blew out my knee. Like I'm not dealing with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And look, he's been banged up.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say like, there's no chance he retires if they win a Super Bowl, but it's certainly, the trending in the right direction, let's say. And let's be honest, this line without Trent Williams is suddenly looking a lot different. So it's good. We need him back next year.
Speaking of looking a lot different, Andre is on it in this one. 49ers still draft at least 2 O-line guys in rounds 1 through 3. I would agree with you. Certainly in this draft, they better freaking take a tackle in the first round. I've been seeing some of the draft experts out there saying that I think it was a handful of years ago they set a record for 8 first-round offensive tackles, and that this year might break that record.
Yes,
like this is the year to go get one.
I'm starting to get into some draft stuff because we can now. Like we have a first-round pick. It's so refreshing. Like I haven't been able to read a mock draft for like 3 years because the Niners didn't have a pick because of the Trey Lance deal. So I am taking a peek from time to time, but I don't want to like look ahead and look past this season because of where we are right now. But I did happen to notice that it is a very good tackle draft, which is certainly something the Niners should be interested in.
You know what's nice is not having a first-round pick for 2 straight years and not mattering. Like it didn't bother me a great deal because the team was winning. Think about the Panthers this year. They got a rookie quarterback who they traded up for that struggled quite a bit, and they gave up a top 5 draft pick in this next year's draft for it. So like they don't even have a, hey, we had a shit season, but at least we get to be like at the top of the draft.
Right. That's that makes it harder when you have like the hopium, right? We all like a little hope to get us through the tough times.
There was an H in that word, right?
Yes.
Just making
hopium.
Just making sure. I mean, this has already been a kind of all-timer podcast.
Yeah, we're in all-time weird territory for sure. Going back to this game, just give me let's do a little instant reaction. Just give me your first blush reaction. Who's the better head coach
in this matchup?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to name 2 coaches.
No, In this matchup, who's the better head coach?
Kyle Shanahan. It's unquestionable.
Who's the better quarterback?
Brock right now.
Don't hedge. Brock or Jordan Love? When they play Saturday. Brock, okay.
On Saturday, yes, Brock.
Who's got the better rushing attack?
49ers.
Who's got the better defensive line?
49ers.
Who's got the better linebackers?
49ers.
Who's got the better secondary?
49ers.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's got the better kicker?
Don't give a shit.
Right. Well, honestly, like, I don't know. The Packers have had all sorts of
actually, yeah, they have had a bad year kicking.
So who's got the better offensive line?
Packers and pretty much everybody else.
So out of everything we named, the only advantage you gave to the Packers was offensive line.
Hold on. You forgot the most important one.
Punter?
Who has the better fans?
I did see Nick Wagner of ESPN tweeted out that according to Vivid Seats, the stadium is going to be 97% 49ers fans. So forget the people of Lambeau invading Levi's. That ain't happening. And shout out to the faithful, because that's awesome, by the way.
See how I gave you a nice setup there? I saw that tweet. If you didn't go and say it, I was going to bring it up, but I assumed you'd done your due diligence and followed, in my opinion, for the last few years, the best beat reporter for the 49ers that there is.
Amen. I agree with that. But if we're giving all these advantages to the 49ers, which, by the way, I pretty much agree with you on all of them, why are you not more confident in the 49ers winning?
Who said I wasn't?
You don't sound confident. You're telling me the Packers are going to put up 30 points and all this other stuff.
I didn't say they will. I said I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. They have a good offense. It's not going to be surprising if they have a good game. It is possible. But no, my prediction of the game is 34-20 49ers.
34-20.
My prediction is 34-20. The 49ers have a great first half. The Packers score to start the second half to turn a 14-point game into a 7-point game. We sweat for a little bit, and then the 49ers say, see ya.
So it's interesting you mentioned the who gets the ball first in the second half, because last week the Packers won the coin toss and said, we want the ball. We're going down the field, and we're going to stuff it in your face and score. And they actually did. Why did that stupid screen give me the thumbs down? Give me the thumbs up. Anyway.
Even AI knows what to do here.
I don't know
the truth.
That's weird. But the Packers took the ball last week and said, forget it. We're scoring on you. And they did. If you're the Packers, do you do that again if you win the toss? Because we know the Niners want the ball. Hell, they score every time they get the ball.
Yeah. I think the Packers if they can get up 7-0, it could change the game. Not that I think they would win, but I think it does change the dynamic. Whereas the 49ers get the ball, they go down, they methodically just move the ball, go up 7-0. It's like an instant, yeah, we got no chance of stopping that offense.
I wouldn't, if I'm a 49er fan and the Packers get the ball first and they go down the field and score, I'm not sitting there nervous. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe more people think that's a big deal. I'm not. Okay.
I would have a little bit of nervousness, but I wouldn't be like, oh, crap, here we go. It'd be more like, it looks like this is going to be a real game.
Well, I mean, we've seen in the past teams have one drive against the 49ers where they score a touchdown and then the defense adjusts.
D'Amico isn't here anymore. That was the D'Amico signature. Hey, we're going to play like shit in the first drive, and then we'll shut you down in every other drive. Yeah, you got a lot of work to do tonight.
That's all right. Jason and Steph on Tuesday, I think I had 8 or 9. It was
How many am I at?
We're at 6, I think.
I got 3 more to go.
But
shouldn't have told me that.
Again, here we are talking about the defense. They gave up 17 points a game. We're sitting here talking about this defense like it's not any good. They gave up 17 points a game. Just because they didn't give up 17 points every game doesn't mean they're not a good defense.
Right. I said they're a good defense. They're just capable of having bad games. That could come on Saturday.
Every defense is capable of having a bad game.
That is true, but to me, it's different because a lot of times when it's a bad game for a defense, it's like, oh, it was a blown coverage. They miscommunicated, things like that. Whereas the 49ers, when they have their bad game, it's, oh, they got punched and just pushed back over and over. They couldn't hold the line. They couldn't get a sack. They couldn't get the deal done. And then they were giving up all the pass plays that, it was like the Kirk Cousins Minnesota game. It was, we're going to hike the ball and throw it in 1 second because we know exactly what you're going to be doing with your off coverage crap. And we're going to be able to diagnose it and get the ball out in 1 second, and you got no shot. It wasn't miscommunications. It was literally the scheme is getting destroyed.
But that really hasn't happened since week 8, since the Cincinnati game. You can talk about the Ravens game all you want, but really the 49ers set the Ravens up with short fields because they kept turning the damn ball over. To me, I didn't look at that Ravens game like, oh, they diced up the scheme. I looked at it as, holy hell, we keep giving them the football.
And we kept bailing them out because Lamar kept bailing them out. Lamar didn't have a phenomenal game, but, I heard you talking about Grant trying to say, well, he only had 242 yards and 44 rushing yards. Yeah, because he had short fields.
Yeah, I didn't think Lamar was like this unbeatable force.
He wasn't.
Lamar can certainly play better than
right. I was gonna say it wasn't the what the hell, you can't do anything with this guy.
Right.
But it was he's not making any mistakes and he's getting out of every sack.
It certainly wasn't a bad game. I don't mean to imply that at all. But yeah, like it wasn't Lamar going nuclear, which when he does that, forget it, man. He's unbeatable. Dave 184 Infantry says, I would like to see a few pressures or even a few sacks on Jordan Love to set the tone early. This defensive line, like, this is what you're built for, right? Like, we can't have one of these like, oh, we got a lot of pressures. No. We need sacks. We need sacks. Now is the time, right? Like, what? No holds barred. Don't hold anything back. Empty the chamber. Whatever cliche you want to throw. You got to get after it for 3 more games. Give me all you got for 3 more games. I need to see a dominant pass rushing front by the 49ers.
Do you know what the song of this game is?
No, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
The J. Giles Band? Do you know?
Still know? Should. It's sort of ringing a bell, but just tell me.
Love stinks. Yeah.
Please don't ever sing on the show again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a window just broke somewhere. Cat streaking.
I agree with this, by the way. DN says Packers will stick to heavy packages and double teaming every chance they get to prevent exactly that. They have been doing a lot of that lately. They've been going with 2 tight ends, and they've been doing play action passes, and they've only been having like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 guys run pass routes. It's not like, oh, we're going to spread everybody out. They've been doing the opposite. They've been going big. They've been protecting Love, and they've been giving him, I don't want to say easy reads, but not that many receivers to have to go through in his progression.
Right. It's as long as the Niners don't turn the ball over, like, it's so cliche to say, but as we've now talked about for, well, probably like 25 minutes of the 48 minutes, because there's been a lot of randomness, but the 49ers are more talented pretty much everywhere along the line. So the only way they lose is if they turn the ball over a bunch. That's it. They're not going to lose if they don't do that. But, Daniel here says, my window just shattered. Thanks for singing, Kevin. It's 11, you jerk. I'm going to go sing outside your window and shatter the rest.
He corrected it in the next comment.
I know.
My Chan says, I don't think Packers fans are worried playing with house money. Young, fast, and talented. If they lose, oh well, we never expected them to be here this year. Win, and then we'll start chirping. People have said
they were a 9-8 team.
Right. But
their fans, he's right. They're playing with house money.
I don't ask the Packers if they feel like they're playing with house money. Like this idea that the Packers have no pressure on them and the 49ers have all the pressure. The Packers don't want to go home. Of course there's pressure on them. They want to keep playing.
Sort of. Like, if the Niners lose, what's the narrative? Wow, they've lost this? They have no excuses. Kyle Shanahan can't get over the hump. Brock Purdy ain't it. It's going to be all kinds of bad storylines like that. The Packers lose, what's the storyline? Wow, they had a great season. You better watch out next year.
You think the players care about that? Which, by the way, that's not true. That's not even true. Look at the Eagles. What were we saying about the Eagles? Oh, look out. Here come the Eagles. How'd their season go this year, right? Look at the 49ers in 2020. How'd their season go that year? We thought they were going to just run it right back, right? So don't say like, oh, they'll be good next year. Look at the Seahawks this year. They didn't even make the playoffs. Like, you can't assume any of that. So you got to take advantage of the opportunities when they're there. Like we have said about the 49ers all week. The same goes for the Packers. And by the way, I'm just fine with all the quote unquote pressure being on the 49ers because that's what comes with expectations and having a good team, right? That's why there's all those pressure and expectations because we got a really damn good team. So I say bring it on.
With great expectations comes great responsibility to not ruin it again.
That is a butchering of a great line from Spider-Man. You should be ashamed of yourself for many things. Antonio, YouTube channel member, says Joe Barry's scheme is quite terrible, but it'll be even worse against the 49ers. They play deep zones with no one in the middle of the field. Shanahan is going to tear them apart. The Packers have not been good defending the middle of the field. I know they got an interception there against Dak Prescott. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Is it too late to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo then?
I think the Niners are going to, I really think the Niners are just going to go up and down the field. That's why I'm so confident. And as I said with Grant, I have two settings when it comes to playoff games: horribly anxious or wildly overconfident. And I'm definitely in the wildly overconfident bin right now.
Yeah, speaking of that, unless the 49ers win by 50, I think you have to wear a Woody costume. There's the thing. You predicted a 50-point win with Grant.
I did not predict a 50-point win. I was exaggerating and said I think they could win by 50. Like, I wasn't saying it's guaranteed they're going to win by 50. Calm down. Jason,
he can't even stand behind your hot takes.
Jason PDSI says, did you see the Steve Young interview with Brock Purdy? Yes, we did. We gave our thoughts a little earlier, Jason. If you missed it, Niners are 1-4 versus the Packers in the playoffs without Aaron. Concerned? Well, okay, we need a little context with that tweet.
They haven't lost to the Packers in the playoffs since 2002.
Right. Brett Favre was the other quarterback for those games. And you could say what you want about Jordan Love. He ain't Brett Favre. I know he's played good against a bunch of tomato cans down the stretch. He ain't Brett Favre. Let's cool it with the Jordan Love hype. Man.
You sure? I mean, we don't know what Love's doing in his personal life. We don't know what kind of texts he sends.
Oh, I hope not. Let's give him some credit.
He does. He seems to me, he's very Brock-like in his demeanor. He's like, just kind of like shucks. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I haven't ever seen him do or say anything like inflammatory. He didn't even really he had the game of his life against the Cowboys, right? Like he had a right to be as pumped up as anybody would be. I didn't see him he didn't even really do that many kind of Brock style celebrations. Like Brock goes a little nuts out there. Jordan, he seemed happy, of course, but he didn't seem like a super fiery guy. And maybe I just missed it, but I didn't see it.
No, he's really not. He's so on the field, he's not very similar to Brock because Brock becomes a completely different person on the field. But off the field, their press conferences, their demeanors, he seems like an extremely low-key person. Like he's very understated in the way he talks and answers questions. You know what I mean? And let's just put it this way. I wouldn't be surprised to see him on a tractor during his bye week.
Well, apparently he was helping people that got caught in snowdrifts.
Yeah.
But at least he said he tried to help somebody, but he actually couldn't. I think they ended up having to call a tow truck or something like that. But yeah, he seems like a good dude. There was one more comment that I wanted to get to. Oh, here it is. Heineman, watching on Twitch, says, Ben Solak said Love is playing like a young Mahomes. And I've said this a bunch of places. He has made some really good arm talent type of throws. But I think that we're making that comparison a little too quickly. Patrick Mahomes threw 50 touchdowns in his first year as a starter. 50. Jordan Love had a very good year, but he didn't throw 50 touchdowns.
See, I don't think it's very Mahomes-like because Mahomes, I get that Love is making these crazy throws. So you want to compare him to Mahomes. The difference is Mahomes gets outside of the pocket and then throws with his feet under him a lot. Or if he does throw off balance, his momentum's going forward, which is what you need for these deep passes. What does Love do? He backs up and then throws off his back foot. At some point, that's going to bite you in the ass.
I did have that thought because people have pointed that out.
You didn't write that one down, by the way.
No, ass is okay.
Oh, really? Oh, I know what word I'm saying a lot more.
First, the 49ers have a giant defensive front. Like literally they are straight up taller than a lot of defensive lines. So if Love is going to be fading backwards, that could be a factor. But two, I just feel like you said, you can only do that for so long before eventually it comes back to bite you. There's a reason why most quarterbacks don't fade away all the time. It's not an ideal position from which to throw. And you could say Mahomes does it. It doesn't work every time for Patrick Mahomes either. Like, let's be honest. So I think there's opportunity there.
It's not a good habit to be in. I honestly don't know why he does it so much, because he's an athletic quarterback. He was considered a dual threat quarterback when he came out. Why can't you run to the side? Like, I don't get it. Like, there were a lot of times just in this Cowboys game that I was watching and I'm going, why did he even back up there? It was wide open. There's nobody to his sides. Like, the Cowboys only had a pass rush up the gut. Like, Parsons crashed on the inside and everybody's on the inside, and he could have escaped and had 20 yards to work with to find the pass. And instead he took 2 steps back and did a jump pass going backwards. And it worked out because, yeah, he does have ridiculous arm talent, but it's just bad habits, and bad habits will bite you.
And that is something that a lot of young quarterbacks do, right? Brock has talked about needing to work on that. A lot of times their instinct when the pressure comes is to go back. It's not to get vertical. And sometimes that can play into a defense's hands a little bit. You know, maybe the Cowboys kept crashing because they knew that Love wasn't going to run to the outside, so they didn't have anything to fear. I don't know. We've seen the Niners can crash sometimes and leave some rush lanes for quarterbacks, so that'll be something that potentially you keep an eye on. But I don't think it's arrogant to say forcing the other quarterback to have to continually make throws falling away from the line of scrimmage. I'm comfortable with that strategy.
I got breaking news, Rob.
All right.
Twitch is now my favorite streaming platform. Brisbee Life says, to bridge the Levin and Twitch gap, Twitch doesn't care about cursing, so please go ahead. All right, Twitch, you're at the top of my list.
Oh, sure. Now you're coming on board. I've been there all along.
All right, you got to change that Twitch stream to be gold standard. I actually don't know if it's gold standard. I know it was Rob Guerrera in the beginning, but
yeah, now it's GSN 49ers. If you're on Twitch and you want to give us a follow, please do. Maybe I'll do some more streaming of video games in the off season, but we're not going to worry about that now.
That's the content everybody wants.
Woody
beat the crap out of Sully.
Or maybe I could like dress up in the costume while I play.
That's a certain kind of kink. It's not my kink, but
you've had a weird bench this entire podcast. Adrian says Jordan Love is going to carve up the Niners secondary. He's going to have to.
Who let that guy in?
I like when
I do too. But
opposing people come in the chat. That's fine. A lot of times they know things about the other team that I don't know. So I'm here for it. They are very confident about Jordan Love. Look, I get it. He's played well. I would probably be just as confident as you were if I was on the other side of things. But all I'm saying is you ain't playing the Cowboys this week. That's all I'm saying. You're not playing the Cowboys.
There's not a potato on that other sideline, okay?
Right.
No, he might potato up if it's 4th down, but the other 3 downs, he's not.
I don't know this off the top of my head, but if I go by the other coaches in the tree, I'm assuming Matt LaFleur is conservative like Kyle Shanahan when it comes to that.
Honestly, don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know either. I hope you know my stance on that. I hope Kyle continues to stay aggressive because I think he deserves it. And if it turns into the kind of game like we saw against the Raiders at the end of last year, if it turns into a shootout, you're going to have to go for it on some of those 4th downs. Field goals are failures.
You know when I would go for it on every single 4th down? When I'm playing Tecmo Super Bowl, the best football game of all time, video football game, I should say.
Were you Bo Jackson when you played that game? The untackleable Bo Jackson?
Fuck no, I was not Bo Jackson. I was Steve Young, Joe Montana. Actually, I don't remember if it was Steve Young throwing deep to Jerry Rice over and over.
Oh, this comment from Jay Handel says the only way to stop McCaffrey is to knock him out of the game with an injury. We didn't talk about Mark Chmura's comments, former Packers tight end, now a host on ESPN Milwaukee, who said essentially a 15-yard penalty for a late hit on Brock Purdy early in the game is worth it if you can really knock the crap out of him. Your thoughts?
Yeah. That Mark Chmura is just a winner. Let me tell you. Just a stand-up guy.
He has had some legal issues in the past, of which he was acquitted. I want to point that out.
Of which he has a quote, I was not being a good husband when I was doing that. And he's referencing whatever he did with a 17-year-old babysitter on prom night.
I'm just pointing. I'm speaking facts. He was acquitted.
So am I. He literally was quoted as after the acquittal that he wasn't being a good husband. And I forget exactly what he finished that with, but he said, I wasn't being a good husband like when I was there or something along those lines.
I think it's really interesting that the last 2 years in the playoffs, we've had the opposing team's media say, you've got to go out and injure one of their players. Chimura this year, and then last year, the local Cowboys host said that about Christian McCaffrey. Like, this is how teams are planning to stop the 49ers, with a stick while they sleep.
It's almost like when you know your team's not as good, you got to come up with something else.
Well, we've seen, Christian McCaffrey has been like a fine generating machine. Somebody tweeted out a couple months ago the list of fines that have come on tackles of Christian McCaffrey. It's like hundreds of thousands of dollars, because that's the only way they could bring him down is like grabbing the face mask or horse collar or something like that.
You know, I hope they do make a Brock Purdy late hit, because do us a favor. Get Sam Darnold in this game.
Shut up. Should that into existence. Jordan Elliott actually was responding to that tweet because ESPN Milwaukee tweeted out that cut from their show. And Jordan Love had a long thread of plays starting with Brock in Tampa. Remember in Tampa, his first start, he gets drilled on the first play. And then he's like, look what happened after that. And it's all these throws of Brock standing in the pocket, just delivering strikes right down the field, left, right, and center. So even like the whole idea of like, you got to go out and set the tone, it's not necessarily going to work.
Brock is a honey badger of a quarterback. He really is. He doesn't care. You can do whatever you want. He does not care. He's going to be him. Nothing's going to change what he's going to try to do. You know what I mean? Like you can't fluster him. He's not going to get happy feet. Now, in the Baltimore game, did we see like a bad aspect to Brock? Yeah. And that was that he was trying too hard. Oh, I made a mistake. I got to make up for it and be Superman.
That's the opposite of flustered, though. I don't
right.
consider that.
Exactly. That's not, oh, crap, I suck. I don't want to screw it up. Oops. I'm going to run and fumble the ball at the end of the game.
Yeah, Sam Darnold. So and let me say this too. Last thing. If the Packers go out and try and injure one of the 49ers players, the 49ers are going to go nuts. Remember what happened in that Seahawks playoff game when they tried to twist Debo's ankle? Kyle got pissed. The whole rest of the team got all fired up. Like I said it on the show with Grant, if you're going to come at the king, you best not miss.
Look, Kyle, if you're listening, I got the physique for this. Hire me as a security guy. I'll be standing there right on the sideline. I'll mix it up with anybody. Okay? Just fly me out to San Francisco. You know, it's not that expensive. And put me on the sidelines for the game.
We'll make you team security.
Rob can do the instant reacts without me. He'll be okay. I know.
That's true.
He's a big boy. Well, not really, but he's okay enough. Yeah.
We'll put you on the sideline an inch from the field. You can call yourself team security. What a joke that was. By the way,
step up to the mic. Testing 1, 2.
How did that go for the Eagles, by the way? Oh, Big Dom is back.
I've tweeted it out many times. Curse a Big Dom until they return, because ever since that's what broke them.
The 49ers broke a lot of teams this year. They broke the Jags. They broke the Eagles. And I think they're going to break the Packers this weekend. I do. I think the 49ers are winning. I think they're going to put up 35 points. The Packers, trying to be fair, 2, 3. No, I'm just kidding. Let's call it 21. 35-21. That'll be my official prediction.
Add a point to each team from my prediction. You know why I'm like Big Dom, Big Levin? Because it's Rob and Big.
I still don't really know who those two people are. Jay Cruz 49er says Levin would run away. He's tough against Rob, but something tells me he would turn around and act like he doesn't know what's happening.
No, I've always been the type of person that doesn't know. Well, I'm not somebody that sits and brawls all the time. Don't get me wrong. But if somebody says, I bet you won't do that, I'm the guy that goes and does it. Here, you've been to Venice. Do you know the two pillars that you're never supposed to walk in between because they're bad luck?
No.
They're right there off the main square. My tour guide was giving that speech that you're never supposed to walk through these. It's considered horrible luck. Your journey will be cursed. And as he's midway through this couple minute speech, I start walking. And I walked right through those pillars and came back. He was not happy with me.
And
Because
now,
immediately after that, we got on a boat together. So he wasn't too happy with me.
and
But
now
that's who I am. So just so you know.
have you ever been punched in the face?
Yes, but not in a long time. I've been punched in the face while playing sports.
In the course of the game or like after the whistle?
In the course of the game. So I know this is very hard for you to imagine, but I may have a bit of a mouth and I may be a bit of a shit talker. And I may not have been raised by a coach that was very big on that. My dad had in his, it would have been in his late 50s at this time, had players, he was coaching my high school team, would have players multiple times try to challenge him to a fight because he was smack talking them quietly when nobody was paying attention from the sidelines.
Not that.
So that's who I grew up with. So my senior year, it dawned on me that I don't actually have to do anything that bad to get them to react. I would pinch them. So I'd stand really close to them during dead balls, and I wouldn't even get like the little skin that would hurt. I'd literally just get a clump of skin, and it was just the fact I was doing it. And it was so consistent. They would start out first like, really? And then it'd be like, you can stop that. And then it would be, stop that. And it'd be like, look here, stop. And then it would be like, they're starting to push me back. And at that point, I would go to the sideline ref and be like, hey, this guy I'm marking, he's crazy. He keeps shoving me and pushing me to try to get away from me. Can you just watch for it? And then I would wait until I'm at the perfect angle for that ref where he can't see me. So I'd always stand right behind him so that nobody can see me. So the guy's right here that I'm marking. And I would pinch him, and multiple times I got punched right in the face, and then the guy got thrown out because that's all the refs saw.
Boy, I wish we had video for some of those.
I had knuckle marks across my cheeks one time.
Wow. You got drilled.
Yeah, like they just turn around and whack you. I mean, this is in high school, but yeah, I'm not exactly an upstanding opponent.
Yeah,
I didn't do anything dirty. I didn't try to injure you or any of that crap. But yeah, there was nothing there were things. I wasn't going to go racist or anything like that, but yeah.
Safe to say you deserved it every time you got punched in the face.
Certainly, which is why I never punched back.
Oh, well, there you go.
If I punch back, I get thrown out, but
I have been punched in the face multiple times. I have an older brother, so we used to have straight up boxing matches in the wintertime when we would like get all the snow gear on and have like the gloves and the mittens, and we would just go straight up boxing. So, yeah. Anyway, let's hope the 49ers is the one.
I can really tell looking at you.
I know. I won those fights, by the way. Let's hope the 49ers are the ones doing the punching this weekend. We, of course, will be live after the game with the Instant Reaction podcast. I assume you're available for that, Levin. It's going to be late because the Niners are on in prime time.
Yeah, I'll join you Sunday morning.
These primetime games, man, let me tell you, not fun. But join us for that. Again, I'll be live with Paul McCaffrey, formerly of KMBR, tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Please, please, please join us for that. Paul's going to take your questions. We wanted to do it live so we could get like an interactive thing going. So like and subscribe to the channel. Click the little bell so you get notified every time we go live, which is every single weekday for you. Go Niners. Let's kick the hell out of the Packers. And now Levin's going to ruin my great close to the show.
Yes, I am.
One more stupid point.
I want to be clear on this. I'm not saying I would have any shot of actually making a difference on that sideline. I would get my ass kicked by every single NFL player, even the kickers. But I'm just saying I would be dumb enough to do it.
Oh, we have no doubts about that. We never underestimate your ability to be dumb.
Right. I mean, I join you weekly.
Amen. For very little pay. That's going to do it, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.